I sit out here in Bainbridge. I work with clients, several clients throughout the week, mostly with families, mostly with teenagers. And I put together some topics. And today I wanted to talk about being uncomfortable, how to have a relationship with being uncomfortable. And so sometimes we notice that, we're agitated, we're irritated, we're uncomfortable, and we don't like it. And it's basically our perception of reality. It's like there's something in the world around me isn't working and I don't like it. And I can feel it in my body. My body's talking to me. It's telling me what it likes and what it doesn't like. And the thing to remember is that this is yours. This is your reality. No one else is feeling this. This is what you experience in your body. This is what you're programmed to hear, to see, to taste, to experience. And, kind of like when we are children and we grow up and we scan and we go, so this is the world, and we record it. And then we turn around and we play it back. We play it back to whoever we see, which is we play back what our parents show us. We play back what we see in life. So we create these realities, these perceptions based on a collection of experiences that we have all through our life growing up. So when we have this unique signature, this is ours. And when we get uncomfortable, it's telling us something. So when someone comes along and they poke this or they push the edges and we go, I don't like it. I don't like the way my child is acting. I don't like what is happening at work. I don't like the way this marriage is going. And we get really uncomfortable with something. It's in our body, it's in our energy system, and we feel it, right? You all know this one. I can feel it. I'm visibly agitated. Nothing's making sense to me right now. This is the most important thing is that it comes in like 4 different ways. When this happens and somebody pokes us or somebody does something we don't like, we go, I'm uncomfortable, so I have to fix it. I have to manage it. I have to make it go away. I have to quiet it. I have to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And this is when we get into that codependent cycle where we don't like something our child's doing, so we try to fix it. You're not performing well in school, so I need to redirect you. I need to help you understand how important your education is to you. Right? I need to help you understand that we're building you into a responsible adult who can pay for your own life. But this is the way I know how to do it, so I'm going to impose that on you. So we try to fix it and we manage it and we make it work. This is where we see the rescuer in the drama triangle. The second is that we blame, which is, you're doing this to me, so I'm going to make you wrong. Whatever you're doing is your fault, and it's where we go into attack, or we go into shame, or we go into, I wouldn't be doing this if you didn't do that first. So we go into the blame, which is, it can't be anything that's going on with me, it has to be you. We run. We get as far away from it as possible. We break up with people. We leave marriages. We put distance between. This is in total flight, which is I'm not going to be around. And this is where we have a lack of presence in marriage. This is where we have kids that never want to come home because they just want to run. They want to put distance between how uncomfortable they feel in this house or with you versus how comfortable they feel with their friends. The fourth one is that they numb it. They numb it with screens. They numb it with substances. They numb it with busyness. The example I use is when I was a young mother and I was really uncomfortable. I was overwhelmed most of the time. And what I noticed was that if I kept things really busy, no one ever noticed. No one ever talked. I didn't have to deal with the feelings of uncomfortableness that were in my body. And then I would just go to bed exhausted at night and get up in the morning and start all over again. So what we know is that first we feel something. We feel it in our bodies. And then we jump up to our minds and we go, what this feeling means, and then we jump into the solution fixing mode, right? Which is, if this happens, then I know what to do. And we're living and solving problems up here in our head. That doesn't necessarily work for us. We're using our memory banks to access all of those old programming and conditioning pieces that we've held on about what its strategy is. And he says, the education system in the U.S. is established to create fixed habits of responses to authority. You are taught to respond reflexively, instinctively, instantly, when anyone in a position of authority tells you what to do. And it takes 12 years to invent this. Think about this. We have a trained reflex to a certain thing. And we know that we can be trained, or I should say, the education system knows that we can be trained into that. And so if we can be trained, we can untrain. This is a kind of conditioning that we react. It's called a conditional response. So we all have these versions of them, and we all know where they reside. But these are, again, our perceptions. We have relationships with authority. We have relationships with being told what to do. We have relationships with someone who acts out of line. We have relationships with familial expectations. We have our own reality. And so we have this reality, right? This is us. And we feel something. We have a response. Like, we feel something and we have a response. And then we have behaviors on the other side to manage. This is psychology 101 stuff, right? We have a reaction, we get it, and then we try to do something to manage it. Now, for those that are energetically sensitive, highly sensitive people, empaths, anyone on the autistic spectrum, they react, they know things, they see things, they understand things in a reality that's different than what we do. So it's sort of like watching the people in their lives walk around in bubbles, which is your head's down. I'll give you an example. As a mom, your head's down, you're always writing grocery lists, you're checking off homework, and you never really look up, and I don't even really know who you are. Because the reality of your world is very small. And I see a much bigger reality. And I wonder if you know what you look like to me. I wonder. And then what happens is that this child sees the cause and effects. When I do this, mom does that. When I do this, dad does that. When I do this, my teacher does that. When I do this, my friends do that. So they see the cause and effect, and they also see our fears, and they see what happens to us when we get triggered. So energetically sensitive children and people have different expanded realities. They're multidimensional. They see patterns. They see shifts in the subtleties of the world. They're observant. They're curious. So when they come up against these rigid perceptions, these rigid conditionings of ours, it is their job to expand us, to make us do something different, to help us grow. So they tell truths and they push buttons. And sometimes this is at a huge cost to themselves. You know, this is where children experience traumas for being told to sit down and be quiet. They're overmanaged, they're shamed, they're controlled, and then they're shoved into programmed environments that doesn't allow them to use their voice until that voice disappears and they no longer have to tell you what they saw beyond the reality of what is in their daily world. So when we bring them, what we do is if we get uncomfortable by what they see and say, then we bring them into our reality and we try to make them conform to what we need them to do so we don't feel uncomfortable, as opposed to the other way around, which is, what if they're telling us that there's this little zone around us and that there's these edges, and that if we could just go beyond those, there'd be something so wild, so cool on the outside of that. So what happens is that we can identify these edges and we can notice where we move around. It's sort of like we play this game of hot or cold. Hot or cold. You know, when you're little, hotter, 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 ooh, burning up, or nope, you're getting colder, colder. And you can have somebody close their eyes or try to find a hidden toy or something by giving them cues like that. That's what these edges are for us. It's like if you get right up on an edge and you feel uncomfortable, you're at a place where there's some beautiful work that's getting ready to happen. So Brene Brown calls this work the wilderness, right? When you go to the other side of that edge, you're in the wild unknown that you've never been before. In the adolescent care business that I've been in for the last 25 years, This is where kids are sent to actual wilderness, where they put a backpack on and they get away from all of the daily distractions and they figure out who they are, what matters to them, what their skill sets are, without the consistent rigidity of the failure system that they're in at home. In corporations and in community work, there's ropes courses, there's workshops, there's daily intensives, things like that that are designed to help you get to those edges and realize, if I step across them, it's so much more fun to see what the world looks like on the other side. So our children are here now to take us out of these old conditionings. Our grandchildren are here to do this. Our spouses are here to do this. Our friends are here to do this. Our community, even the global world, as you notice all of this change going on, is just saying, where are your growth edges? And what are you going to do about it when you're uncomfortable? What are you going to do when you can identify physical symptoms that you're uncomfortable and it's time to shift into another direction to expand? I love this work. This is the kind of work I do every day. So if this is something that you're interested in, give me a call. You can find me on DeniseDrydenCoaching.com. And it's Sunday. It's March 3rd. Have a great spring. Have a great rest of the weekend. And get outside and play. You take care. Bye-bye.